at BW Education's Leadership Summit 2023. We have with us Mr. Dhumil, Javeri, who is co-founder and CEO of Classrooms. Welcome, sir.
Hi. Hello.
Good to have you. We are talking about education all across the sectors, and Edtech is the most disrupting and the newest one. You coming from the sector, tell us about your journey, how Classroom evolved, and you as a leader in the sector evolved.
Sure. Thank you for this opportunity. Special thanks to Businessworld as well. So I started my teaching career when I was doing my second year of engineering. So I started teaching physics in a lot of coaching centers, coaching institute. Then in 2009, when I completed my engineering, I got selected in a multinational company, and I also had an option that whether I should go into a multinational company or continue with what I love doing it, right? That was teaching. So we decided in 2009, we decided to start a venture, a standalone coaching center named as Adeshwar Academy. We started catering to the students from 8th grade until 12th standard, and also started preparing students for their competitive preparation examinations like JEE, NEET and CA, right? We ran this profitable venture for almost 12 long years. So in 2016, my brother, me and my mom specifically, we thought that we wanted to scale the entire coaching market, right, and also expand it inorganically. So that is where we started with our brand, which is Classroom. We are proud to say today that we were the category creator of hybrid learning back in 2016, where there were only offline players and only online players, right? So we were the first one to launch hybrid tutoring, where we have our own offline centers as well as we have our own online tutoring also. So when we thought about this, right, I think that was back in 2016, we launched in Mumbai. So currently we have close to 150 partner centers, which is present in Mumbai, Delhi, Nasik, Pune, Ahmedabad. So these are primarily our centers which are placed in the cities. Along with that, we have 60,000 active learners on our platform, which are learning from almost 500 different locations, right? The best part about our platform is that we come into a segment which is highly affordable and accessible to the student, right? So someone could even dream or imagine to become an engineer or doctor at a price point of just 5,000 or 7,000 per an entire year, right? So that is what we have been doing successfully since years. We were very fortunate enough last year, in month of January, where our work was also recognized by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So basically, we were one of the education company which got selected and got an opportunity to live interact with our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir, where we recommended policy level recommendations. And fortunately, now currently we are working with 650 central government schools. We are also working with 750 state government schools of Rajasthan. Basically, we are implementing national education policy and helping and training teachers across the schools specifically.
So good to know. That the scale are you working on and the people and students who are involved in. Dhumil, you spoke about hybrid learning and you claim yourself as a category creator. There are multiple players in this sector.
Correct.
But how do you differentiate yourself playing in the same sector? Also, what are if you could light us upon some of the strategies you are laying emphasis on, and how are you different from others?
Sure. So I think, as you said, right, how do we differentiate? I would like to share that we typically do not term ourselves as an edtech company, but we are an education company, right? So when we are saying as a differentiator, first of all, our offline model, when we have scaled up to 150 centers, right? We are not creating any asset-heavy models like others are doing. So all the centers which we partner with, it's a very asset-light offline centers. It's easily scalable, and it's basically a hyper-local friendly neighborhood center for a particular student, right? And if we give that service, if we give that brand which is very localized, which is near to them, right? It's a friendly neighborhood center. So that is where the student has that brand connectivity and wish to go to that particular center, right? So our model is a very hyper scalable in nature, where we aspire to go to 3,000 centers in next 2 years from 150 centers, right? And not just build only an asset light model at one particular location, right? So of course our centers are spread across the location in a particular city. That's the first point. The second thing I would like to highlight is that in terms of our online modules and the content which we are creating, right? We are not restricting ourselves only to few subjects. The online learning and the content which which we have expertise in, we have created the content across all the subjects, right? So imagine someone who wants to learn Marathi, right? So you do not have a very beautiful or exciting interactive content which is currently available. So we have developed the content which is typically for all the subjects for the student currently. Third, I would like to share that since we are working with central government and state government schools in terms of implementing national education policies across the schools, I would like to share that all the content which we are preparing, all the learning materials or the digital resource materials which we are preparing is completely national education policy ready, right? So this content is now specifically approved and verified and will be used for another 30 years till the time the national education policy will last. So I think that's something a huge differentiator among others which you'll feel, right? Because all our content is now national education policy ready content. Along with that, we also have an AI based proctoring test solutions for students, right? So that they can get a real time feedback, they can get a real time assessment to a student to specifically work into that parameters.
Before my final question, I would like to ask, you talked about your collaboration with the Government of India. Also, you are taking and collaborating with them in terms of building your curriculums and
working with central government schools.
The new education policy as well. Coming from the hybrid learning space, what role is our Edtech playing? If we can look at from a policy review or policy making perspective, what role Edtech is playing?
Correct. So I think Edtech has a long way to go, right? I mean, because what we believe is that with the current market size, right, Edtech is supposed to grow multiple times now in coming years as well. So Edtech will definitely be used. So I was specifically sharing about the urban market and the rural market, right? Edtech will play a very important role in terms of reaching out to the remotest part of our country, right? And we know the physical limitations which we have. When you're talking about the urban cities, primarily where there is an easy accessibility, where there is everything which is easily accessible in terms of teachers, institutes, there is where primarily both offline as well as online will work together. People will start using online as an Edtech solutions as a technology enabler, right? That will be a secondary source of their learning modes. But when we are talking about the rural part, right, the remotest part of the country, Edtech will play a very important role, because to reach out to a student, right? So I had a student who was specifically learning from a Nepal and Bihar border, right? For him to travel 200 kilometers just to get a teacher was practically impossible. It was not feasible, right? So that is something where Edtech is doing their role. Yeah, absolutely right. And of course, we all know with the good internet connectivity across India now, right, which is available, it's very easy for a student to learn and get the real-time, education updates as well.
So you yourself being an educator, you used to teach physics as well.
Correct.
Also now playing as an enabler for students to get learned from amazing teachers. What is your philosophy of education?
So what I personally believe is that when we started with Klassroom, right, we had a very clear vision. We wanted to impact, we wanted to influence, and we wanted to support students and their families and make them, education ready, so that the students will uplift their family backgrounds, they will uplift the entire, education ecosystem. And we wanted to influence millions of students in this case, so that they get an education which is accessible, affordable, accountable, as well as it should be flexible in terms of mode of learning. So I think these are the 4 very important parameters which we have kept in the mind, right? When we see everything, the entire education ecosystem revolves only on these 4 parameters. The first is affordability, the second is accessibility, third is flexibility, and fourth is accountability, right? So if you are able to provide all these 4 parameters to a student concurrently, we are very sure this solutions will impact to millions of students.
We wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much for